Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm back with part 4 of What If Naruto unlock 100% of his brain. Remember to get this one too. 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to stay in tune for the rest of the What Ifs coming your way. Yes, I indeed have 3 more channels that I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family guys. All of the links will be down in the description, so go ahead and obliterate them. So yeah, without further ado or waste any more time, how about we jump right into this brand new episode. Begin now guys. So, to do a bit of a recap from the last part that we left off, Kakashi woke up as he felt unusual. He felt different. Upon realizing that something was not right in the slightest, as he was soon told by Naruto what happened. As Naruto saw the misplace within his eyes and the stress that it took on his form, so he corrected it. The copy ninja was rather shocked. For the first time in his entire life, he was able to deactivate the sharingan. A truly shocking realization that Naruto could be able to do something like this. As Naruto said something rather complicated and long about it, Kakashi didn't understand half of it, but he understood what this now meant. As Naruto allowed Zabuza to escape along with his apprentice, knowing that they were the enemy, they will have to fight them again, but next time they should be prepared. As Kakashi was healthy enough to start training the others, Naruto did not need this, as he was already far above that level. After all, he was placed on this team as a, gesture of good fate, in his own hands that he would protect Konoha and start from the bottom going up to the top. Later that night, Sasuke was struggling with the tree climbing, as Naruto told him to use his sharingan, but he said he didn't have it. On the contrary, though, he did. He just forgot how to awaken it. As he made a deal with Naruto to awaken his eyes, so Naruto stabbed him and threatened to end his life, sending that special chakra to his brain in desperation. Sasuke blacked out a moment after. When he woke up, he was completely fine. Naruto did tell him that it was going to be painful, so he did not really care because he had the sharingan. Returning back in Eri was rather angry about everything, as they believed they could just come here and understand their pain when they did not know anything about them or their pain. However, Naruto simply spoke to the child. Naruto knew that something was off, someone was watching him, as he found a woman. She had blue hair, golden eyes. She was the very definition of elegant and beautiful. She was surprised though. However, she was also intrigued by Naruto. She said that others could not see her, but he could. Surprisingly though, she kissed him, a gesture of intimacy. As Naruto looked at her, it seems like she was something beyond him at the moment, and he could feel that. She was stronger than him, there was no doubt about that. Naruto decided to stay outside, as Haku came across the field. Her intention is to kill him, but that quickly changed as she woke him up. But Naruto was not sleeping, as Naruto immediately told her that he know that she was the one that saved Zabuza. She quickly got on guard, however. His intention was not to fight her, as he kept on teleporting because there is no way that could be raw speed as he picked the herbs. By the time he was done, he gave her the basket, as Naruto made her a promise that they wouldn't have to come to death blows. Haku looking at him strangely as he made his way off calmly. She couldn't understand this person and how he was able to move like that. When the time came as Naruto was there with Inari, Naruto empowered the child as Inari was going beyond his natural limits. One punch Inari sent the bandit sailing as he broke the other's blade. Naruto told him to not do something as stupid as that again, because the next time he wouldn't be there to empower him. However, he did do something brave though. The moment Naruto touched down on the bridge, the fight was over, because he was now here as he stepped inside. Sasuke was knocked down unconscious as Naruto went inside the mirror, entering Haku's jutsu like it was nothing, forcing her to flee and step back, as Naruto subdued her with ease. He then made his way towards Zabuza and asked him if he values Haku's life. If he did not give him the right answer, he would kill her right here and now, and Zabuza broke. Haku had woken up by Naruto, making her wake up, so she heard all of that, to make her see that she wasn't as a expendable tool as she thought that she was. As Gato arrived with his man, Naruto proceeded to infuse their chakra with his own. Their body wasn't able to handle it as they exploded, blood and guts flying everywhere. Haku and Zabuza were truly shocked as they realized the great threat that they were actually dealing with. At the end of the day, Naruto asked Haku for a kiss, as he wanted to see something. She was blushing like crazy, not expecting that. Surprisingly though, she did it, even surprising herself, as she later found out who exactly he was. He was the son of Minato Namikaze. Naruto was simply testing a theory. It felt different when he kissed that woman that appeared out of nowhere. As they returned back to the Hidden Leaf, with the bridge being named after Naruto, as his name was getting more and more influence over the Elemental Nation, everyone was talking about him. The woman returned once again as Naruto spoke to her, as she said that their connection was beyond human physical interactions. She was something special, though he could feel it. Something very, very special, but he wasn't quite sure exactly what she was yet. His capacity was still growing, and he was still getting stronger. Naruto was informed by Hiruzen that both Kumo and the Stone would be making a surprise visit to Konoha. Yes, they would be placing members within the exams. This was a power grab from them. They wanted their members to defeat Naruto, to show that their nation was stronger than the Hidden Leaf, because they wanted to overpower the Namikaze name, as Oniki would be sending someone very special, his granddaughter. She was someone special after all. Yes, this was going to be the largest Chunin exams through history, as Naruto was busy. A few days after, as Naruto was told that Jiraiya would also be coming to the village as well. He wanted to do this for some time now. It was summoning creatures, something that he was working on. So yeah guys, basically that's where we left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself so to begin this new episode. So, this is Konoha, huh? That was the first thought that came to mind upon entering the village. Her gaze, her dark gaze, swept around the area. To her side was her teammates. The first one was a boy, a bit big-boned. His name was Akisaki. To the other side was a girl. Her name was Tsubaki. She hailed from a special clan that was within the Hidden Stone that utilized bees as their main defenses and offensive weapons. As you could see, there was a hive on her back. It seemed to rest in what seemed to be a gourd of sort, but it wasn't that large, as it was strapped to her back. The main one in the center was Kurosaki, as their sensei was not too far behind. The headband that they wear proudly displayed that they were from the Hidden Stone. In the past, Konoha and the Stone has never truly gotten along, as she could see the looks the moment that they enter within the village. However, attacking them or doing something stupid would lead to an international incident that Konoha would not dream of. Kurosaki was never truly trained in the normal ninja arts. She was 15 years old and she only attended the academy for 2 years. As she outshined everyone else, placing her high above their level. She was specially trained. She was from a great bloodline within the clan though. It was her grandfather. His name was Oniki and he was a Tishikage. So yes, she was a big deal. And that kind of went to her head. She was a bit arrogant. After all, it was her dream, her ambition to be the next Tishikage, to replace her grandfather, and nothing will stop her from doing that. As their sensei signed them in, they proceeded to enter within the village. "Where are we going?" Tsubaki said. "Just taking a look around," she said. This was her first time being to Konoha, as she was looking for any weaknesses and any fail in their security. One thing about her was, she was completely loyal, through and through to her village, and looking for any downfall within their village security and their shinobis as well, believing that by annihilating their great forces, they wouldn't stand a chance against her village and her rule. When she was much younger, Oniki was a very ruthless man, who was battle-hard and ready to clash against any force that was sent against his village, as she seemed to have adapted that mentality quite well. As they made their way through the village, simply taking a stroll, Akisaki was a lot more relaxed and calm. Tsubaki, well, she had a grudge with one of the clans of Konoha, and that was the Aberame clan. There were some problems with the Aberame and her clan within the past, and she had taken that grudge upon her head, hoping to defeat a few Aberame members within the Chunin exams. As Kurosaki was moving around, she was actually seeing if she could find that one person. That person that was making Konoha believe in that they could ever be great again. After all, they'd lost so much. The Nine-Tail attack, the Uchiha clan massacre, they were incredibly weakened. If it was any time to strike, it was now, to further demolish them. However, the information about the son of Minato Namikaze had sent everyone for a loop. It was rather surprising. She was one that despised that man. He wiped out thousands of their people, completely ending the war. She hated the fact that he possessed so much power to force her village into giving up. She hated that, and she was looking to see if she could see his son, trying to find him. After all, she had one goal in these exams. It wasn't just to show the strength of the Hidden Stone, to make future clients realize that their village was great. It was also to annihilate Naruto Namikaze at all costs. As she was walking, she was so lost in her thoughts that, wait, she didn't sense a damn thing. Despite the fact that he bounced into her, that was when she actually knew that someone was there. Other than that, she did not know. As she turned the corner and bounced into someone, she fell, as she felt like she hit something really hard. However, she was caught right into his embrace. The first thing that she noticed was the eyes, the gorgeous blue eyes. She was taken aback, blinking several times. As his face came into full view, he was handsome. However, that is when she noticed the markings. As she remembered the description that was gave, immediately she righted herself up and slapped away his hand. However, he simply looked amused as he gazed at her. "Are you alright?" "I'm fine," she said. She was really pissed off that, out of anyone else, he was the one to catch her. And the worst part was, she was admiring his damn looks. It was him. As the other two stood by her side, there Naruto stood, just turning the corner as he casually gazed towards each and every one of them. his expression calm and relaxed. Given your headbands, I would say that you're here for the tuning exams. Although, he said, you guys being from the Hidden Stone. What of it, she said to him, not truly knowing if he knew who she was. After all, her identity wasn't really a big secret, but not everyone knew this about her. Are you intimidated by my village and myself, knowing that there is no Konoha ninja that will stand a chance against the Hidden Stone within the exams? That's not what I was going to say, he said. I was going to say I'm glad. He said, calmly looking at her, that despite the past, we can put aside past grudges and come together and be within the same exam, he said, without trying to actively kill each other in sight. His gaze was a bit unnerving. It seemed like she had his undivided attention as he looked at her as he spoke. Especially you, being the granddaughter of the Tishikage and all. Now how do you know that, she said. Well, it's not like you're a standard shinobi. I make it my business to know the people I'm dealing with and the people that are entering my village. Such as I'm sure that you made it your business to know who exactly I am. Naruto said, gazing at her. Yeah, I know who you are, and I hear that you will partake in the upcoming exams. Of course, said Naruto. I guess we'll see each other there, he said to her, as his gaze was just staring at her. Yeah, I guess we would, she said. Her mind filled with all the ways that she was going to end his life. Why are you staring at her? Tsubaki asked, seeing his gaze stuck on Kurosaki, who wasn't saying anything about it. His face seemed calm, yet there was something really unusual about him. Extremely so. Oh, it's nothing, he said. I simply find her features a pleasing sight to look at. She's quite beautiful, said Naruto. She was shocked, as that stopped her train of thought immediately. Tsubaki did not know how to respond to that. Even Akisaki was surprised that he said that, given the fact that his father was Minato Namikaze, and she was the granddaughter of Oniki, the leader of their village, and yet he would say something like that. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you. I hope because of our connections, we don't have to be that violent against one another. As he simply walked past, leaving the group, Kurosaki snapping out of it a moment later as she glared at him. It must be some kind of tactic on his side to try to weaken her defenses, trying to play on her female emotions, believing that she was a stupid, squirrely girl that would simply jump to his looks despite how handsome he was. No, what was she saying? Screw him. He was going to die within the exams. Come on, let's go, she said, as she started to walk off as her team followed behind her. That wasn't a coincidence. Naruto could already pick up on them the moment they arrived. So he decided to feel them out to see exactly what they were like. And he wasn't really lying when he said that he liked her features. But he could tell that her intention was to end his life. Not that that was possible. But she will try though. But it does not really matter. As Naruto was walking up ahead, he saw another group. His gaze fixated on the one in the center. A girl. She seemed to be his age group. The other two seemed to be a bit younger than her. The Kumo team was making their way towards a hotel, as they saw the one person ahead of them walking down the street. The boy on the right was known as Amoy. The girl on the left was known as Karu. The one in the center, the older one, her name was Samui. As her gaze focused on this boy, his gaze locked with hers, and neither of them turned away, refusing to cower down, as their gaze was simply focused on one another. The group ended up passing one another, as their gaze was on each other until they passed. It seems there's a lot of beautiful females coming to the village, Naruto thought to himself. That's him, isn't it? Karu said. There's no doubt about it. That's the description that we got. The one to look out for. Naruto Namikaze. Yeah, I think so, Amoy said. He doesn't look all that special to me. Samui, what do you think? Karu said. He's quite an interesting person. Samui said in a rather calm voice as she kept her head straight and walked. There was more teams coming from Kumo and more teams coming from the stone. After all, it would look rather strange, sending only one team despite most of their heavy hitters were on one team actually. As Naruto was making his way, it seems like today was a very eventful day, as he heard some ruckus. He then came across the young child, identifying him as Hiruzen Sarutobi grandchild. He's met him on a few occasions already. However, he wasn't really personally knowing him that well. But this did not look good. Apologize, you brat, before you get hurt. Kankuro, a member of the Hidden Sand, spoke, malice in his tone. Damn it, Kankuro, leave the damn kid alone. You're much older than him, he's just a brat. Easy, Temari. These Konoha brats should know what they're dealing with. You should listen to your sister. The both of them were caught off guard. Who the hell said that? That is when they noticed him standing there, as both Udon and Mogi turned their gaze. Mogi's eyes went wide as she gazed up towards him. She saw him before, when she and Konohamaru was at the Hokage residence. He's very handsome. Temari turned, surprised. It seems she was seeing more and more handsome people within Konoha, but this one take the cake. Wait, those features. It's him alright, she thought to herself. There was no doubt about it. The one that everyone was talking about. And who the hell are you, Kankuro said. Kankuro didn't understand what just happened, as Naruto's hand was resting on his. Kankuro's grip opened up, releasing Konohamaru, as Naruto turned his gaze towards the kids. Why don't you guys run along now? As Konohamaru backed away, Mogi grabbing onto him. Behind you, she said. Kankuro, feeling disrespected, was about to sock Naruto over the head. Kankuro, stop, Temari said, as he seemed to not realize who he was dealing with. The political fallout that this could have before anything even starts. This idiot was always getting them in trouble. However, a stone was thrown. It slammed Kankuro's hand, causing him to pull back as he looked up with a glare. You might not want to come into someone else's village and cause any trouble. You might get hurt, Sasuke said as he threw another stone up before he caught it and crushed it. Right on time, Naruto said to himself. Kankuro took the puppet off his back as he slammed it on the ground. However, Temari grabbed his hand. You idiot. Stop what you're doing and think and look who you're dealing with. She knew how it would sound if they were to attack him right now. Almost everyone was talking about him. And Kankuro was about to make a stupid move. And right now Konoha saw them as an ally, and yet he wanted to fight their new up-and-comer. Something was not right about this guy though, Temari thought. He must have known that Kankuro would have retaliated or even make a move, and yet he turned his full back to him. Could he actually be that trustworthy, or perhaps he just did not believe that Kankuro could do something to him? Or perhaps he knew the other one would be coming. Kankuro. Temari froze hearing that voice as Kankuro trembled. Sasuke glanced up as he was surprised. What the hell? He didn't even sense him. Just like with Naruto. Sand swarmed Gaara as he proceeded to arrive, his red hair flapping slightly. Are you creating trouble for our village? No, Gaara, you see, shut up before I kill you. Quite the family dynamic, Naruto said. Gaara turned his gaze towards Naruto. Who are you? He said. Oh, me? I am Naruto, he said, in a calm manner. How about you? What's your name? I'm Gaara. Gaara of the deserts. Will you be participating in the upcoming exams? Naruto, he said. Yes, I will. I will be looking forward to seeing you there. Gaara said, not knowing what it was, but there was something about this one. something that excited him a little. It's been a long time since he'd been this excited. As he turned his gaze, gazing back towards Naruto once more and walked away. Wow, that was so cool, Mogi said, rushing up to Naruto. The way you made him release Konohamaru, that was the only thing that she was going off, just because of how cool and handsome he looks. As Sasuke proceeded to jump down, he was pretty upset about himself that he wasn't able to pick up on the red-haired one above him. Why thank you, said Naruto, but I must be going now. Come on, Sasuke. I'm pretty sure that Sakura is already there. With that, they walked away. He's so awesome. What's so awesome about him, Konohamaru said. When I get big, I'll be a better and awesome ninja than he ever is, or ever was. As he started to make his way off, seems like someone is jealous, Udon said. I'm not jealous, Konohamaru shouted at him. Time skip. So this is it, huh? Sakura said, as they all stood at the entrance. You nervous? Naruto asks. Of course. I mean, there are ninjas from all over the nation. Shouldn't I be nervous? You've trained hard and prepared yourself. Just believe in yourself and there's nothing for you to be nervous about. As Naruto glanced towards Sasuke, don't even look at me, the Uchiha said. I'm not nervous, if you're wondering. As he slammed his fist in his palm, he was rather excited and it was showing. To test his strength against those from other nations, to dominate and prove the Uchiha name to them all. Sasuke proceeded to walk off. Seems like someone is excited, said Naruto, as they made their way. Upon arriving to the second floor, Sasuke's arrogance informed the others that there was a genjutsu, although it was a small amount. As Naruto noticed that Sasuke was being stared at by a small group, as he noticed the white eyes of the Byakugan. He then noticed the boy in the green spandex, and the girl with the bun in her hair. Naruto did not say anything, as they proceeded to make their way off, after getting through. It seems like we have company, said Naruto. Sasuke gazed around until he heard, Hey you! Rock Lee stood on the balcony gazing down towards them. Lee heard about the son of the fourth Hokage. However, there wasn't much about his skills or information about how strong he was, but he did hear about the prodigy. But today he was going to show that hard work beat prodigy every single time. If you fight him, you're going to lose, Naruto suddenly said. Sasuke snapped his gaze towards him before he looked back towards Lee as he proceeded to jump down. A few minutes later, Sasuke was shocked as there was a bruise on his face. Guy had arrived though and proceeded to punch Lee as he claimed that he was Kakashi's rival and he was stronger than him as well. With that said, the group made their way off. Sasuke in better spirits because he was going to advance the levels beyond what Lee could do. There was no stopping his growth. Well, at least that seemed to help his confidence boost still. As they arrived to see Kakashi, his features were different than they normally were. Both of his eyes were on display now, his headband on his forehead. His other eye no longer covered by the mask, as his regular eye gazed towards him. Fully eye smiling towards the group, he was here to wish them luck. Upon exiting, the group stepped inside. The moment they did, they felt the bloodlust. Everyone turned their gaze towards them. Kurosaki heard the door open as she turned her gaze. So there he is, she thought to herself. Ever since meeting him, she couldn't get him off her mind how she was going to demolish him. Look who's here, Karu said, as Samui gazed over to see the boy that they were all talking about. As Sakura started to feel overwhelmed, Sasuke grit his teeth as he clenched his fists. He wasn't afraid. No, he was excited. His Uchiha blood wanting him to fight. That was when it happened. It felt like the entire land of fire was submerged in water, and no one could reach the surface. Every single participant in the room felt the pressure that swallowed them whole. Immediately, all the bloodlust stopped. A few tried to understand what happened as it just happened in a fraction of a second, to not further affect their mind but enough to stop their attempt. Kurosaki gazed towards Naruto. Could it be? She thought to herself. What did you do? Sakura asked. I simply averted their gaze, said Naruto, as he stood there calmly. When the door opened up as Ino rushed inside and jumped on Sasuke's back, followed by the others. As they greeted the group, Shikamaru sighed when he saw them. Time passed as Kabuto Yakuji came over and proceeded to speak to the group. Naruto said nothing about him entering their group. He simply stood there and watched, as there was a debacle with the sound before Ibiki arrived. The test was pretty simple. There was no one within the elemental nation that possessed the brain power or the knowledge capacity like Naruto. So there was nothing, absolutely nothing to worry about when he came to the testing area. Even if his teammates were caught cheating, he could prevent them from ever truly being kicked out of the test. Time skip. They stood as Uncle Midarashi was informing them about the second test they would be taking. As Naruto stood there calmly despite finding out a lot of important information since stepping within the exam parameters. So with that, Team 7 headed into the forest, along with the other teams as well. They came to a stop after 10 minutes of familiarizing themselves with their area. So how are we going to do this? Sakura asked. Are we going to try to find a team and get their scroll? There is a team ahead, said Naruto. Where? The both of them said. With my eyes I can see them, but I doubt the both of you can. But they're not too far away from here. It seems like they're plotting something. Perhaps they're the ones we should strike first. Moments later, a team from the Hidden Rain village was setting up their genjutsu, their trap, where they were going to be hiding and using special clones to bombard their opponent until they emerge and take the scroll for themselves. That is when they saw a massive fireball hurling towards them. They quickly jumped away, each of them separating. The one to the left got it worse. As he landed, he heard a sizzling. He looked up as he saw the pinker Kunoichi. Boom! He was thrown as he was knocked unconscious. The one to the right landed in front of Sasuke. He tried to raise his guard, but two vicious hits and he was out, like a light. The one in the center landed in front of Naruto, as he seemed to be the stronger of the three. Whipping out a kunai as he thrust it forward, he slammed the weapon within Naruto's stomach. To his shock though, the metal broke apart before it even hit Naruto, turning into dust. You're gonna have to be a lot faster than that if you require to pierce my skin. Although, you're going to need a lot more force, which I'm not sure that your body would be able to produce. He quickly jumped away as he landed. It's not over yet. He fell face first. You came too close. The match was already over the moment you came so close. Naruto said to the unconscious person. What am I thinking? You can't hear me. He walked over as he picked up the scroll. It seems we're in luck, Naruto said, as Sakura and Sasuke arrive. This must be some kind of record, Sakura said. If we get out of here now, we will break some record or something. I suppose you're right. Let's go then. Sasuke seemed not too pleased about that though, as he wanted to test himself in here. However, he supposed they were too good, getting their scroll so early. As they made their way off, Naruto picked up on something. He noticed as he looked around. What's wrong? Sakura asked. Naruto grabbed her and Sasuke's arm and threw them away, as a snake erupted from the ground and seemingly swallowed him. The snake then proceeded to bury itself through the ground once again, heading off. Both of them picked themselves up. My. Truly a gallant sacrifice, protecting those who are dear, and those who he cared for. What did you do to Naruto? Sakura yelled, holding out a kunai when the kunoichi from the grass gazed at her. Sakura felt her entire body tremble in fear from just a look. Malice and hate resonating from the kunoichi as she turned her gaze towards Sasuke. However, her body was no longer there. Sasuke saw what happened. Well, he saw Naruto's image before he moved. As Naruto appeared out of nowhere and kicked the kunoichi with such a force. His image lingered there for a moment, allowing Sasuke to see. The grass kunoichi who was once standing there found herself blasting through countless trees and blasting until her body created a large trench. Every single bone in her body had shattered. The force that he kicked her with had traveled through her entire body. She was shocked. She lay on the ground, broken and battered. As Naruto stood on the branch ahead, "You might as well reveal yourself, Orochimaru." She was surprised. Before she opened her mouth and emerging was the Sannin. "I must say, I am surprised. You should give yourself a pat on the back for that. Not only were you able to catch me off guard, but you were able to find out who I am. I can see in your eyes there was no hesitation, no doubt at all. Tell me, how did you know?" "I would be a fool not to. That snake was a summoning. But it swallowed you. How could you have returned so fast?" "Your perception of what you believe is not what truly happened," said Naruto. "Are you saying that you were able to evade my snake?" "Yes. In fact, it was really slow. If you're wondering," Naruto said. "My oh my. Well, I do suppose you get the speed from your father." "Yes, my father was quite fast, but we differ in many other ways. But I suppose you can say his inherited speed is something that he was blessed with as well. So I'll give you that one. Well, I suppose you believe that you will be able to do something like that again. But despite your last name, child, don't believe." Naruto gripped Orochimaru's throat. The Sannin was confused. What the hell? Naruto slammed his fist 3 times in his gut, shattering every one of his ribs, the force once again spreading, disrupting several of his organs. Blood splashed out of the Sannin's mouth as he felt woozy. As Naruto released him with a force, he simply released him, and yet a great kinetic force broke the Sannin apart. His body was thrown once again, but so violent as he was broken upon being thrown. Orochimaru crashed on the ground in agony. Something was wrong. This pain was unlike normal pain. The Sannin picked himself up only for Naruto to land right on top of his face. Naruto then stomped his head clean into the earth, causing a massive tremor. Orochimaru quickly opened his mouth underground and regurgitated another self as he dived underground. The Sannin jumped out of the earth, only to find a kick crashing into his cheek, shattering every single teeth in his mouth. Before he could be sent flying, though, his left leg was grabbed. He was spun in mid-air as Naruto pressed 2 fingers on his stomach, pressing a certain area of his body with his own kinetic energy and force that he had built up from simply moving. Orochimaru suddenly started spasm, violent blows slamming into him from just 2 fingers hitting him once. The Sannin sent tumbling as he crashed hard. spitting up blood as he wheezed. Confusion rested over his face. Naruto gazed down towards him. He did not desire the Sanin's death. He had something planned for him. Naruto turned as he walked away, leaving a battered Orochimaru who picked himself up, his body slowly healing. The Sanin was confused. As he didn't even move, he just sat there. As he was fully healed, he was confused, not quite understanding what had just taken place. This doesn't make any sense. This must be his own fault, because of his underestimation of this child. No, he refused to accept this reality, that he was actually defeated so easily. Granted, he never got the opportunity to fight back, which was the worstest thing, he never got the opportunity to fight back. The Sanin felt ashamed. This can't be right. This was the first time that he came into something with no information and got put in this state, and the child had simply left. Meanwhile, Sakura blinked as she felt something behind her. She turned, as Naruto allowed her to know that he was there. Damn it, Naruto, you scared me. Even after I made you know that I was here. Yes. Clear your throat or say something, she said. Where is the Kunoichi? What happened? Sasuke said. Don't worry. They're gone now. Shall we proceed? We don't want to break the record, do we not? Fine, Sasuke said, as they headed off. Time skip. What? The Chunin said, confused. There's a team. They just arrived. No, that's not possible. Sir, but they did. The other one said. Talking to the second in command. No, you're wrong. There's no possible way. No team could arrive this early. This doesn't make any sense. If that's the case, they have shattered every single record. Looking through the monitors, they saw who it was. It's him. Yes, this was truly shocking. Time skip. Kabuto was surprised. His master contacted him with a sneak within the forest. Orochimaru did not seem pleased. Kabuto could tell. The man wasn't just only pleased, he was goddamn furious. He wanted information on Naruto Namikaze. Everyone was talking about him nowadays. But he wondered what was his master's curiosity with the boy as well. Perhaps he intended to use him in some way. But something seemed off. Not completely right at all. As Kabuto simply did as he was told and headed off to make his way to watch the boy proceed within the exams and to gather more intel on him. Time skip. Hiruzen just received the report on Naruto and his team shattering every single record within Konoha by arriving at such an early time. He figured that Naruto would do something like this. What he did not figure though was for his window to open up and Naruto stepping inside. Hiruzen blinked twice as he looked at the boy. Naruto, what are you doing here? He said. Oh, I figured that you wanted to know that Orochimaru was in the Chunin exams. Hiruzen quickly got to his feet. What? Calm down, Naruto said. I handled the situation. I presume that he is long gone by now. However, if you still want to check, you can go right ahead, Naruto said. What happened? Hiruzen said. I presume that he was after Sasuke, mostly the sharingan. Given the situation that we found ourselves in, he tried to take me out of the picture. It seems like he didn't thought that much of Sakura, but his goal was definitely Sasuke. However, I dispatched of him. You killed him, Hiruzen said, trying to understand what Naruto meant by the word dispatch. No, said Naruto. I simply handled him in a brutal way. So that is why I'm saying that he's long gone by now. There's no way that he would be sticking around after our latest encounter. Sit down and tell me every single thing that happened, Hiruzen said. Time skip. Kurosaki and her group arrive. She was sure that she just broke a record within Konoha. However, to her shock, the Sand team was here. But not only that. Why, hello there. Seems you've made it. She gritted her teeth. Standing there was that bastard. He was already here as well. Damn it. And yet she thought. She sent him a glare before walking off. Rather pissed off that she did not make it first. Hiruzen had the forest check. However, Orochimaru was nowhere to be seen, just like Naruto had said. Within the end, several teams made it. It seems like only the 2 teams, with those special members from each of the village, Kumo and the Stone, made it. And now they were all gathered. Over the 5 days that preceded, Kabuto had been keeping a close eye on Naruto. Kabuto had been a spy for a very long time now, but it seems it was impossible. It was the way the boy looked at him, the way he glanced in his direction. Could he know? More important, could he know that he was working for Orochimaru? Kabuto had no idea where these thoughts were coming from, but it was just something about his eyes and that look on his face like he knew everything that was going on. So now here they were all gathered. As word had spread about Naruto and his team breaking a record, further enhancing his name, Kurosaki heard some of the Konoha ninjas talking, as the spotlight was not on her. But this was good. She wanted the people to see him as strong as possible, so when she finally strikes, they will understand her village and her strength. They were all gathered as Hiruzen gave a speech, as he commended them all for reaching this area. The numbers were large though, so they will be having a preliminaries. Kabuto gave up, knowing that he could not take part in the finals because of his role in their plan, as Sasuke was the first to face off against one of his teammates. Shikamaru went up against Kin from the Sound team. The Sound team was confused because Orochimaru had gave them orders to find Sasuke Uchiha. However, he was nowhere to be found in the forest. They figured that something went wrong. Kin was taken out by Shikamaru. Zaku faced off against Shino. Zaku was cocky and arrogant, as he was easily dispatched after Shino got his bugs within the canister on his arms. Choji faced off against Dosu, and Choji was demolished by the sound waves. Sakura's name was called, as she was going to be facing off against Ino. Sakura calmly made her way down there, as she was ready, as Sasuke and Naruto and Kakashi stood at their end watching. Ino had a smirk on her face. It seems that we finally get to settle this once and for all, forehead. I suppose you're right, Piggy. However, I will be the one that will be succeeding today, not you. You have dreams, but your dreams will never be a reality, forehead. Are you two ready? The proctor asked. They were given the go-ahead. Ino immediately threw several kunais forward. However, Sakura evaded all of them and blocked 2 with her own as she launched it. Ino flipped out of the way. To her surprise, though, Sakura caught up to her. Ino ducked, feeling a strange pressure whipped over her head. However, Sakura's knee came up, slamming right into Ino's nose. Ino staggered, not one of physical pressure or physical hand-to-hand. Sakura spun as she kicked away Ino's feet. As the girl was falling, Sakura slammed a kick in her stomach before sending her rolling. Ino was in pain on the ground, wondering what the hell was going on. Kakashi himself seemed a bit surprised by that display, his both eyes showing it. He turned towards Naruto. Flashback. As Naruto was standing on a river within the village, where Sakura found him, Naruto turned as she stopped right at the edge. He made his way towards her. You said you wanted to speak with me, said Naruto. Yeah, she said. looking quite nervous. This was after their mission to the land of Wave. Something seemed to be quite off. What's wrong? Speak your mind, said Naruto. I want your help, she said. My help? Yeah, she said, looking away. I have been completely useless on all the missions that we've taken. I'm the first to always get tired. The first to always run out of chakra in our sessions of training. I want you to make me stronger. Make you stronger. Well, I can't do that. You're gonna have to make yourself strong yourself. After all, if I simply give you strength, there will be no accomplishment. There will be no reason for you to grow more strength, because it can simply be given to you. He stepped forward as he gazed at her. I can help you achieve greater strength, to be able to better protect yourself. However, it will not be easy, said Naruto. I'm ready, she said. Oh, and can we make it a secret? A secret? Yeah, you want to surprise Sasuke, said Naruto. Her cheeks turned red. I didn't say that. As Naruto simply smiled. I suppose this will be a good idea. After all, if Sasuke was going to be with anyone, he would want to be with someone strong. Sakura's eyes went wide. Ever since the both of them had been training in secret. That is why Ino did not stand a chance in hell. Kakashi. He figured that Naruto had something to do with this, because he saw Sakura steadily improving within their training session, but nothing this advanced. Winner, Sakura Haruno, her name was called, as she made her way up there as Ino was taken, to heal up the bruises and multiple marks all over her, but she would be fine though. The next match was Kiba Inuzaka versus Kurosaki. Kiba made his way down there, trying to put on a flirtatious smile. I'm not really a big fan of fighting girls, he said. You're an older one though, he said. But don't worry, that's a good thing. I like older girls, he said with a smile on his face. She smiled back at him. Is that so, she said. Kiba blinked. Wait, was this actually working? He thought to himself. The proctor asked him if they were ready as they both said yes. How about you quit this thing, so I won't have to hurt you, Kiba said, believing that he was being charming despite knowing that their village don't really get along. She smiled at him once again, as Kiba was viciously slammed into the wall. Kiba was in agony. Kurenai was disappointed, greatly so. He let his guard down and he allowed Genjutsu to best him, an attribute that Kurosaki excelled in, Genjutsu, quickly manipulating his mind to make him see what he wanted to see. She then stepped into his guard and delivered one strike, and Kiba was done. One strike and he was done. Akamaru wasn't fast enough to bite him or anything. As Kiba proceeded to pass out, Kurenai shook her head angry that he let Genjutsu overcome him. She was the best Genjutsu user within the village. She taught him how to defend himself, how to repel Genjutsu, and yet she was gravely disappointed in him for being defeated by that so easily. As the rest of the matches went off, a brutal one was Neji, and how he dealt with his own cousin. The match was stopped though before it could go too far, as Kurenai made her way along with Hinata. The Kumo team proved to be quite capable, as each of their members made their way through. The numbers were getting less and less as Naruto stood there. When his name finally popped up on the board, his match was ready. He was facing off against Akisaki. So far, Kurosaki was the only one to make it. As Tsubaki got defeated, Naruto calmly made his way down there. Sakura wishing him luck, Sasuke only saying Kakashi also wishing him luck as well. As Naruto made his way down there, he saw the Hokage looking at him, as everyone was watching him. He had lied to the Hokage and told him that Orochimaru managed to get away. But that was far from the truth. Naruto allowed him to get away. Granted, Orochimaru was not able to truly fight as himself, because he wasn't expecting this and he let his guard down. Yes, he let his guard down and he underestimated Naruto. But he still wasn't able to fight at his fullest. Not that Naruto really cared about that. But he had plans for the Sannin though. Plans that require him live until a certain time. Are the both of you ready? As the both of them nodded. Seems like Akisaki is gonna get to take him down. Before I do, Kurosaki thought, as she focused her gaze on the match down below. Samui kept her gaze focused as she watched, observing the members down there. Akisaki looked rather calm and innocent, as Naruto stood there watching him. The proctor told him to begin, but no one moved. I suppose we should fight now, he said. Yes, I suppose so. Plunging his hand into the ground, Naruto found himself sinking as Akisaki manipulated the earth at his feet. Quite advanced. Well, he was no joke. Akisaki then moved with a speed that surprised most of them. He's so fast for one so big. Questions rained up amongst them, but they wasn't only worried about his size, his speed. It was his strength. His fist pulled back. It seems like he was going to knock Naruto's head clean off. And Naruto was trapped. And he was not moving. What was going on? Akisaki's fist passed right through Naruto, as Naruto was not there. Confusion written all over all of their faces as they tried to understand what just happened. Did he teleport? As many of them were confused. Guy was confused on what was going on. He was worried about his student, but what just happened? Even Hiruzen himself did not quite know what had taken place a moment ago. Everyone could swear that Naruto was captured, and yet Akisaki spun and slammed his hand in the ground, erupting large boulders. They shot right towards Naruto. It seems he had quite an advanced master over the earth. Naruto evaded and twists, stepping behind them like they were nothing and then moving around them. You're a fast one for your size, I'll give you that. Akisaki blurred behind him. You haven't seen anything yet, as he threw his fists. Well, I must say, I'm quite fast and strong as well. Naruto slammed his fist into Akisaki's, causing a little crash between them. Akisaki was the first one to pull back, as he felt his fists and his strength being overwhelmed. But something was wrong. The pressure didn't seem to be all there. Akisaki was confused by this fighting style. It was like he was simply toying with him. He opened his mouth after finishing a hand sign as he released a golem. Said golem formed into a ball and rolled towards Naruto at extraordinary speed. It then unrolled and jumped. It landed on Naruto and wrapped itself around him. It started to heavy itself down. The ground underneath Naruto's feet was perfectly fine. Akisaki was confused. Where was the pressure? You're wondering why I'm not going down. I'm simply cancelling out the force. That's not possible. There's no way you can do that and retain that stance or the emotion that is not showing on your face. You have no idea what I can do, said Naruto as he pushed his hand right through the back of the golem and ripped the thing off him. Naruto held the golem upside down as the thing started shrinking upon itself like a black hole. It started to be sucked in until it was a tiny ball. You should be fast enough, if not. Naruto threw the thing at speeds. Akisaki twisted just in time, but it tore through his shoulder, leaving a sizable hole. as the thing split through the wall and fired through the forest. As you can see, I'm quite strong as well, said Naruto. Well, I can't say that all of that was me. Despite the size, it still possessed all the qualities that you infuse it with, and the strength that it was using to weigh me down. So all of that wasn't really me. Akisaki was gripping the wound as he looked up towards Naruto's face, finally showing one of discomfort. Going through hand sign, he slammed his hand down in the ground with winks in pain. The ground started to rumble and lift itself up before plunging back down. As it rose high enough, with the intention to crush Naruto. However, the moment it slammed down on top of him, it turned into mud. As it dripped off Naruto's hands and fell to the ground. Akisaki was shocked. What did you do? I simply manipulate the qualities of the earth that you use, and change the density, and made it into mud, I suppose, Naruto said, as he tapped 2 fingers in the mud. It stood there on his finger as Naruto started to rub his thumb and pointer finger together until a tiny mud ball was created. He then dropped it down. The mud ball started to multiply, splitting itself and multiply, absorbing the mud on the ground to create hundreds. Naruto lifted them up as they circle in his palm. As you can see, each of them is a piece of the earth that you sent towards me, and now I can simply change them back. They all turn to stone, solid stone. All I need to do now is to increase the force that I'm going to throw them with, Naruto said, as a strange blue energy started to gather around them. It's kinetic energy, the force that one uses upon simply moving. However, I can simply gather it upon staying in one place. I can gather a large quantity, as you see. All I need to do now is to connect it to you. You have quite the sizable mass. It's not an insult towards your size, but simply that you're quite large for someone so young. I mean no offense by it. All I need to do now is to... Upon saying that, Akisaki jumped. To his surprise, though, they followed after him. His eyes went wide as they crashed into him. He tried to shield himself, but each of them was like a violent stab slamming into him. They did not pierce his skin though, which was confusing. He crashed down to the ground, covered in bruises as he was in agonizing pain. I cut the force from harming your skin or going through it. That would have severely killed you. Perhaps you've envisioned the thought of taking my life, but what can I say? I see a future where you survive, so I made that one a reality, said Naruto. Instead of simply just slaughtering you, you should be happy that the chances were on your side. Everyone was perplexed and shocked to what they just witnessed. Truly, utterly shocked. I believe I'm the winner, said Naruto. Oh, yeah, the proctor said. Winner! He looked towards Naruto. I suppose you could go with my father's name, since now Naruto has been using both whenever he see fit. Naruto Namikaze! As Naruto calmly made his way up, a far distance away, beautiful golden eyes that shine like the sun was sitting down as she was watching what seemed to be a space in front of her. On that space was Naruto as he walked the stairs and go up. It was that same woman who refused to tell him who she was. She smiled. She smiled happily upon seeing him win his match. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications they posted. But I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.